I worked 33 years. 2 jobs, almost the entire time. Shop teacher Monday through Friday. On weekends, I ran a small hardware store 3 blocks from the house. Nothing dramatic. No invention, no big idea. Just a man who showed up every day and did the work. I was never going to be rich, but I kept the lights on. I put food on the table. I sent my son to a school I had to take out a second loan to afford. Not glamorous, but I built something real. And for 7 years, I quietly gave it away. One transfer at a time. Margaret died 12 years ago. Ovarian cancer. She was 54 years old. Daniel was 27 when we lost her. And something in him, some anchor came loose after that. I watched it happen. And instead of letting him find his footing, I started writing checks. I told myself it was helping. What it actually was guilt that I was still here. Guilt that he had lost his mother. Guilt that I didn't know how to be both parents at once. I overcompensated. 7 years of it. I know that now. It started the year after Daniel married Rachel. $600 a month. His rent had gone up, he said. Just until he got a raise. By the second year, it was $900. Rachel's car needed repairs. By the third year, $1,200. A dental procedure. Just this once, Dad. By the 6th year, I was transferring $1,800 a month. There was always a reason. There was always something just around the corner that would fix itself if I could cover the gap a little longer. I never kept a running total. That was a choice I made without realizing I was making it. I did not keep a total. Maybe that was the problem. My grandson Daniel and Rachel's boy turned 1 year old on a Saturday in September. I found out on the following Tuesday. Not from Daniel. From a photograph on Rachel's social media page. 40 people in someone's backyard. Balloons, a cake with a single candle. My grandson in the center laughing. I was not in the photograph. I had not been invited. I called Daniel. He picked up on the second ring. Daniel. I saw the photos. A pause. Then, Dad, we kept it small. Just their friends, you know. It got complicated. Their friends, I said. It wasn't personal, Dad. I did not argue. I said goodnight, and I hung up. And I stood at the kitchen counter for a very long time, looking at that blue tin. 5 days later, Rachel called. Not Daniel. Rachel. Hi, Edward. I'm so sorry to bother you. We have a credit card bill that came in from the birthday party. Some extra costs. Would you be able to help us cover it? It's only $950. I stood very still. Rachel. I said quietly, I wasn't invited to the party. A short silence. Edward. I know. And I know that was it, just got complicated. But it's for the family. For your grandson. There it was. For the family. That phrase, used like a key that could open any door regardless of what was on the other side. Rachel. I said, I'll have to call you back. I hung up. And I called Philip. Philip had been my accountant for 19 years. He had done my taxes, managed my retirement account, watched me sell the hardware store. I gave him all 7 years of bank records. He called me back in 4 days. Edward. You transferred $78,400 to Daniel and Rachel over the past 7 years. I sat very quietly. $78,000, I repeated. Including the car repair, the dental procedure, the rent supplements, and everything in between. Yes, I looked out Philip's office window at the parking lot. Philip, I said, I want to change the beneficiary on my investment account. He nodded. He did not look surprised. I called Daniel the following Monday. I did not rehearse it. I did not write anything down. Daniel. I'm not going to send money anymore. Not this month. Not next month. I want you to make your own arrangements going forward. A long pause. Dad. Is this about the party? Because that was. It is not only about the party. Daniel. Another pause. Then his voice shifted. Dad. You've always had more than enough. This isn't a hardship for you. I had exactly what I worked for. Daniel, Dad, $78,000 over 7 years. I've done the math now. Complete silence. I am not angry, I said. I am not calling to punish you. I am calling because I should have said this 5 years ago. And I didn't. That is my failure, not yours. Dad, we were counting on that, I know. And that is the problem, Daniel. That is the exact problem. He went quiet for a long time. And then, in a voice that was a little younger than 43, he said, What are we supposed to do now? The same thing I did at your age, I said. Figure it out. There were no dramatic scenes after that. Daniel left a voicemail 9 minutes long. I listened to it once. He was not shouting. He sounded confused, mostly like a man who had walked into a room and found the furniture rearranged. I removed Daniel as beneficiary on my investment account. I established a small education trust instead for my grandson. In his name, not Daniel's. Philip said. Is that what you want? I said. It's what reflects reality now, not hope. Maggie said it to me 3 weeks before she died. She was still lucid. We were talking about Daniel. She was worried about him. She reached over and took my hand. Eddie, don't let him think your love is something he can count on like a salary. You give it freely, but he has to stand up on his own 2 feet. I nodded. I said I understood. Promise me, she said. I promise, Maggie. I held that promise for about 14 months. And then I started the transfers. I told myself I was keeping it. I wasn't. I broke the promise, Maggie, for 7 years. I broke it. And I told myself it was love. Maybe some of it was . But some of it was something else. Something with no spine in it. Daniel called 6 weeks later. He asked if he could come for lunch. Just him, not Rachel. We sat at the kitchen table. I made coffee. Neither of us spoke for the first 2 minutes. Then he said, Dad, I didn't know Rachel called you about the party money. I know, I said. I'm sorry about the party. I should have called you. He looked at the table. You're my dad, he said quietly. I don't know when I stopped acting like it. I didn't forgive everything in that lunch. That is not how it works. But I poured him a second cup of coffee. And he stayed another hour. Some things you rebuild 1 hour at a time. I have been thinking about what I gave Daniel over those 7 years. Not the money. I know what the money was. I mean what I gave him underneath the money. I gave him the message that struggle was something I would remove, that discomfort was something I would absorb on his behalf, that my love was a financial arrangement he could budget around. Maggie called it love with no spine. She knew me better than I knew myself. Weight is what builds a person. Not because suffering is good, but because carrying your own weight tells you who you are. I carried Daniel's weight for 7 years, and he never got to find out. The tin is still on the counter. Maggie's handwriting is still inside index cards with her recipes, her corrections in the margins, her notes for dishes she never got to finish teaching me. I used to open it to feel close to her. Now I just let it sit there, because some things don't need to be opened to remind you of what matters. Daniel is finding his own way now. It is not graceful. It is not fast, but it is his. And that is what I should have given him from the beginning. Not money. Just the chance to stand up. My son called to ask if I'd sent the money. I said, not this time. He said I was being selfish. He said I didn't even. He never finished that sentence. Neither of us needed him to. The account is closed. And for the first time in 7 years, I can feel the weight of my own life again. It turns out, that is not a bad thing.